Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently apparently being invaded down over here, but I mean that's not going to go well for them. We've already got that pretty under control. What's less under control right now is our number of tanks needed. We definitely need more tanks than what we have, and the number of tanks that we need is going to continue to change for a while. So for right now, we've got these 19 divisions here. These are not the 19 divisions that we want. We've got these 10 tank divisions here. And I'm going to move them out into the Eastern Theater here, so we're just going to have them be assigned here. And they don't currently have a front line. That's absolutely fine for the moment. I'm going to leave them there. We're just going to have them here. So that looks good for now. Now we're launching an attack up over this direction, and this is a difficult attack for us. We've been slowly trying to grind our way through this. So let's see what ends up happening here. This is claiming that this will last for another like 18 days. That's going to be a long one, and this will last for another like 13. If we can push up to here though, that will definitely be semi-useful for us anyway. So that would be nice. Now we are currently actually attacking here. I'm going to tell this guy to stop. Okay, there we go. And these guys, they don't want to advance, but I want them to at least assist this attack for the moment. There we go. Something about like that. That should do for the moment. Where are you guys going? Okay, you're just traveling up over here. So we would love to get this corridor carved. That would be ideal. The real question there, though, is how many divisions would we need to man this front? Would we need an additional army up here? So we'd have 1, 2, approximately call it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not too bad. Okay, that's really not too bad. I think that's acceptable. So that's fine for now. And we do have this light tank template here. Okay, that is not one of our guys, and we're definitely going to toss that one into the Coast Guard for now. That sounds good. So that is fine for the moment. Now, one thing I noticed when I started up the game here is this has reappeared. That appears to have reappeared when I restarted the game, so that's interesting. We're going to offer this to them again. This time they accepted. Excellent. So that gets us a lot of additional chromium. So we immediately want to begin building infrastructure right here. 100%, that is a very high priority. We can also put some civilian factories in. I'm not terribly concerned about these right now, so that seems fine for the moment. So then if we check in here, we can see we're currently at plus 10 chromium. So that looks great. We're currently making about 14 tanks per day, and that number is going to get ramped up quite a lot more. So that looks good. So I'm just wondering here, are they going to yield this territory to us? Presumably the answer to this is yes. Presumably. But we are really struggling to push in here. I'm assuming this is due to the mountainous terrain. Tanks are generally not particularly amazing in mountains. And, I mean, you can imagine why. So that's the primary issue there, I think. I do want to have some of these guys assisting this attack. There we go. And we'll just continue to do that. I want these guys up here assisting as well. Pushes this up to 93. Okay, so that's currently going to last. Okay, we gave up on the attack. Can we not? I want to continue that attack. Thank you very much. Less than a day. Let's get them pushed out of there. Okay, so the infantry decided to stop attacking again. Keep attacking, please. We did just get a research slot finished. We should probably research something. I don't really care what, to be honest. This will be fine. So Kingdom of Livonia, sure. 1 modern tank brigade finished, and we'll just move that in here. So if we look at our recruit and deploy here, yeah, we've got some work to do there, for sure. Okay, so checking in up here, these guys are going to get kicked out of here very, very soon. Excellent. Now, I want to send some of our infantry up here as well. Experimental rockets just finished. Cool. And I was just looking at our stability. Our stability is currently 46, because I was thinking we might want to get a national focus going at some point. We've got lots and lots of political power right now. So we could start doing coring. That's a theoretical option. We would also love to come down here and increase our stability, but unfortunately that's not an option at this moment. So that's probably not going to be an option. I'm going to start getting some of this coring done, I think. Yeah, that consumer goods factories factor is going to hurt. We really only want to do one of these at a time, right? So if we check out our consumer goods factories factor right now, we can come in here and we can see it's currently 14. So if we did another one of these, like that, this is now going to be at 54, but it actually went to 20. Oh, okay, so this is a percent increase, not a percent increase. This is multiplicative, not additive. Okay, beautiful. So that looks good. In that case, I'm willing to do all of these. Yeah, that'll slow down our construction for a little bit, and that's currently at 56. But we're going to need to let that die down a little bit. That seems fine. So we're currently up over here, and we're trying to push them out of here. I think they moved some reinforcements in here, but by pinning them here, we're making it very difficult for them to reinforce here. And that's the idea, in theory. We're trying to have this be a very narrow front that we're advancing on here. Okay, so these guys aren't moving. I want to get them in there. And I want to get these in here too. Literally everyone here should be attacking. We're getting very close to getting them kicked out of here. Very close indeed, but it's difficult in these mountains. And that's understandable. We will be pushing through this much more quickly in other areas. And once we have additional areas being dealt with, right? So this is fine for now. We've managed to take this territory. That's great. And we're going to immediately build land fort levels here. Did that queue all of them? Hang on. Or did that only queue one? That queued all of them. Okay, good. Do we have access to building infrastructure up here yet? No. Okay. So that seems fine. We're redeploying our troops right now as we get this moved up. And we're definitely interested in continuing to push up here. So I'm going to tell these guys to resume their offensive here. And we'll see what they end up actually doing. For the time being, I just want to continue to push here. So we do have a naval invasion in northern China. This is not a problem. We should have no problem whatsoever pushing them out of here. Yeah, this is not going to be an issue. So that looks fine. We did just finish up another modern tank brigade, so that's going to go in here. What that, of course, means is that these guys are getting their tanks replenished, and then those tanks are going down here, right? So that means that we're producing enough tanks for this offensive, and that's very good. But it's going to take us a little bit to get them pushed out of these territories. But honestly, once we cracked this nut here, I think things are going to get easier for us here. It's the theory, anyway. So that's great. I'm watching our manpower. It's currently at 6.08 million, and we're growing by 11.7k monthly, so I'm definitely not upset about that. That seems absolutely fine. And yeah, now we're starting to see some actual gains happening over here now that we've managed to punch a hole in their lines. They are significantly weakened and they have a hard time resupplying these areas. Speaking of which, we should be thinking about our supply points. So we've got a supply point here and a supply point here. I think building one here makes a decent amount of sense, even though that's still pretty close. Let's get started on that. It takes a while to build those. We should also be building up the land forts here. So we'll get going on all of that. Why are we not currently building in Kandahar? That's odd. Also, this down here should be all queued up, but near the bottom of the queue. It's low priority. So that's fine. Why aren't we building in Kandahar right now? Interesting. I understand up here because we're being attacked. That makes a lot of sense, but we're not being attacked in Kandahar. So we're continuing to make progress out over this direction. Now, one thing I'm definitely thinking about doing is getting one additional infantry army up here. But we'll see what that ends up actually looking like. This fill-in looks like this, which is way wider than I want it to be. So that's definitely noted. If we grab this again, delete this, delete this, there we go, and we do a spearhead attack instead, with the idea being to spearhead like that. It then wants to do that. That's way wider than I want this to be. I want this to be a pretty narrow corridor, to be honest. But the game doesn't seem to agree, so I guess we're just going to have to do something kind of like this. Okay. I'm not terribly fond of it, but it's fine. So this offensive is going reasonably well out over here. We're definitely seeing some gains, and to that end, we should probably be building some land forts right here. We'll get that going. Mountain Infantry 2 has finished, and that's fine. I mean, Mountain Infantry would be useful out over here. Not that we have any, but it would be useful. That's for sure. Docking rights is fine. Yugoslavia can do that. So, we're definitely making gains up here, and our strategic goal is to just push to here and dig in as we go. So with additional gains out over here, including a victory point that already has a supply hub in it, we're going to do something like that. And we're also, of course, going to fortify that. So that looks good. We will continue to build at a somewhat diminished capacity because of our coring. That's understood as well. We should really probably only be coring one thing at a time, approximately. And I don't really love this corridor that's developing here. While it's great that we could get this province, I feel like that's dangerous. We do have forces moving up over this way, though, so maybe it's okay. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm definitely slightly concerned about this developing bulge here, though. That could get cut off fairly easily. So we've now taken this up over here as well. And to that end, I want to continue to build ridiculous numbers of land forts. Absolutely. And I want to check to see if we can build infrastructure up here. We can now. That's a big deal. Hi, console. That's a big deal, too. So, to that end, we're just going to continue to press through over this way. And if we can take this victory point, that's not a terrible thing. So, currently, this is the state of this offensive. And it's going, honestly, very well at this point. We've got bogged down for a little bit there, but not too badly. So there's another tank brigade finishing. This is, of course, intended to come down over here, but we don't really have the tank production yet to be able to run multiple offensives simultaneously, I don't think. So that's absolutely a concern. But this is looking very, very good. We need 3,320 of these things. Our cipher was broken, which always reminds me that we need to continue to work on this. So cryptology level is very good for that, but we don't actually have the factories. Fascinating. Okay. I guess we'll work on this. Hi again, console. Every time I hit the escape key, I have been doing that today. That's exciting. So that's absolutely fine for now. We're just going to continue to press through over here. And if we can generate these corridors, then that's going to be phenomenal. Of course, we're building defenses as we go, which should include here. Okay, so that looks great. And I think we're taking territory faster than we're building defenses, especially when you figure we've got a lot of consumer goods factories right now. We should probably chill on that. We shouldn't be coring for a little bit. Let some of these cores finish up. 197 days on that. That's over 6 months. So that's going to be a little while. No doubt about that one. So that's understood. Research is available here. What do we want to grab? Well, we could continue to work on something, I'm sure. There's nothing that we're really too high priority on at this point. I guess we could take, like, anti-tank guns. Sure. We don't have that big of a need for them, though. So this is looking absolutely fine for now. We just took another territory out over here, so that, of course, means we should be working on some construction here. So this is going to take quite a long time to get that all online with our current level of factories. So, yeah, lesson learned, we should core fewer factories at once because they have essentially an exponential gain because each of these is 40%, so the first one was 4%, right? That wasn't a big deal. The second one clearly was a lot more, and the third more, and the fourth more. So, we're going to take a little while, but that's okay for now. So as long as we get this corridor punched out, it looks good. And things are going very well on this front for us. So I'm very, very pleased with that right now. But we do need to get a lot of construction done over here, and that's going to take time due to that coring. So lesson learned that that's the way the scaling works. That is good to know. We are, of course, continuing to take territory up here, and this territory is fairly easy to defend, being mountainous, so that'll be fine. We'll just continue to work on getting some of this built. And eventually, we'll have our civilian goods factories back. That'll be nice. But right now, that'll be a little while. But yeah, this offensive is going very well at this point, so that looks great. Cracking through these first levels here was a bit tough, I think because they had a lot of supplies, but their supplies are much lower now, and they have a hard time replenishing them, so we're pushing through much easier at this point. So that looks absolutely phenomenal. Continuing to punch through up over here. So that looks good. Yeah, we're definitely making very solid gains here. So what we want to do is we want to set up a defensive line over here on this side. And a defensive line on this side, but this is going to be our offensive line over here. The idea here is that we're going to push eastward. And that'll be interesting for sure. But we're getting some territory here. You can see our manpower is dropping due to this offensive, so that is definitely good to know. Our manpower is definitely taking some hits, but I have a feeling that they're not doing well on that front either. And once we get some of these territories cored, that's going to be a big deal for us. Because you can actually do that in this game now. That's insane. Okay, Arab Democratic Republic has capitulated, sure. I'm still not very concerned about what's going on over here. This is not a particularly big deal. Pushing up to over here would be fine, but I'm not terribly concerned about it right now. This offensive is definitely the more important thing at this moment. So let's continue to queue up some of these land forts. It's going to take a while to get those built, though, and that's absolutely understood. 173 days on these cores. Once we have those, our construction is going to go back to being really, really fast, to be clear. And that will also boost our manpower growth, so that'll be great. Radio Interception Group finishing up. I'm not going to start another one because I want more factories being put into this construction. We don't have much going on there right now, so that's absolutely fine for now. This time it's a deliberate choice to not improve our intelligence agency instead of, I forgot that intelligence agencies exist for the 10 millionth time. Fantastic. So we're definitely making progress up here, and my question is, if we look at our overall offensive tank army here, well, first off, we can give this guy an officer corps role. So armor specialist, that'll be good. We can also give him a new trait, Panzer expert or combined arms expert. We'll do Panzer expert. That seems fine. Okay, what I wanted to check, though, is I wanted to check to see what their status was. This doesn't actually give us the breakdown of how many tanks they need. Okay. Looks like they're doing pretty okay on tanks, to be honest. Organization is tougher for them, but that's not surprising considering they're pushing up the way they are. So at this point, supplies are becoming tighter for us up here as we continue to push. And that's deeply unsurprising. What we need to do is we need to move these railways up and get this supply hub online. That is top priority right now. I'm going to actually cancel this supply hub since we captured this one. I don't think this is necessary. We haven't even started this. So let's cancel that guy. And let's just get this railway online. So that'll be good for now. So that railway shouldn't take very long to build, even at our decelerated speed here. We should start to see those finishing up. We've already got one level of railway there, so that looks great. And I do want to queue these up, although I queued that at the bottom of the list. I wanted it at the top of the list, but these railways are still top priority. Okay, so that's all looking good for now. We're definitely stalling out due to supplies at this point, and given our push, this isn't necessarily surprising. So that seems good. We're actually up a little bit in manpower from last check on that, so that's fantastic. But what I want to do is I want to hop in here, and this supply hub is going to be motorized, so that'll be fine. This one could be ultra motorized, and that may help matters up here as well. Yeah, that'll definitely help supply matters. So that looks good. We're currently at 3 levels. Okay, so let's do this for now so we have at least 1 level of railway out over this way. And we can get this supply hub online. That'll be great. So we're not currently attacking. We should be getting there soon, in theory. But yeah, we're going to have to split this soon enough. What I'm thinking right now is 2 of our infantry divisions on this side and 1 on this side, because our tanks will also be on this side. Okay, so what are these divisions here? We have 2 additional infantry divisions and 2 additional tank divisions. Okay, so this tank division should go here, and this tank division should go here. These 2 infantry divisions, for now, are going into our Coast Guard. So that looks good for the moment. So it looks like our supplies over here have now been largely sorted. We are not currently attacking up over this direction. Our troops are doing a lot of shifting around, but what I really want to see here is an attack right here. And I'm also going to change this attack order. So we're going to remove this, and I'm going to have this offensive line be very particularly drawn to be that. Okay, we'll go ahead and execute that offensive line at this point. Excellent. So we just want to take over this area right here. Strikes? So we can either say this will blow over, we can make a demonstration out of them, or we can make propaganda heroes out of them, and that's what we're going to do. That's going to drop our political power, but that's fine. Trade was modified because of a lack of civilian factories. Okay, fair enough. So that'll get us some civilian factories back to our construction, in theory. Never mind. Right. So we're 39% taxes right now. Our number of taxable civilian factories is 161. We should pay out dividends. We'll definitely do that. And this is going to be a bit of a problem for us going forward. No doubt about that. Now, we could try to give out these factories. That's a lot of factories. Or we could just be like, you know what? We're going to eat it. And that's fine. We're going to be losing out on a lot of steel. No doubt about that. So strikes right then was very awkward for us. But that'll be done in 45 days. So, in theory, actually 90 days? 90 days. Okay. Well, that's very awkward for us in terms of our construction, but we're going to be stopping this offensive fairly soon anyway. We've nearly achieved our goals. I'd like to bring some of these tanks up over here. So really what I want to do is I want to adjust the front line here for these tanks, and I want to have this be here. And instead of being down here, I want it to be here. Like that. So that front line is going to be much compacted. That looks fine. And we'll just wait out these malices for right now. It's going to be painful for a little while, for sure. 100% that's going to be painful. But that's fine. We'll just wait it out. it's okay. So we've now got this cut off at long last. So that's great. We should not have any divisions over here at this time. All of these guys should be assigned to this for the moment. So that's fine, and we know that we wanted to have 2 units of infantry over here and 1 unit of infantry over here. So I'm going to take Army 3, and this is going to be fully assigned. I want to select everything here, fully assigned over here. And we'll let that go for now. So yeah, there's no divisions up over here, so we can delete that order. Done. Now this army over here is Army 10. So Army 10 has some divisions over here and some divisions over here. We're moving a lot of forces right now, and hopefully we're not leaving any of this completely undefended, because I'm not actually moving any Army 10 units yet. So we want Army 1 to get in position first, and then once that's done, then Army 10 can start getting into position. I don't really care about this attack here. That's kind of irrelevant. So that's fine for now. We managed to stack wipe some units here by completely surrounding them. That's wonderful. And how are we doing on these decisions at this point? 75 days on the strike crisis. Okay. So that's, of course, going to be very, very painful for us, those strikes. I want these guys in here. And do we have any tanks up over this way? They're driving into here right now. Let's see about moving these guys directly in here. We're just about done with this offensive, and that looks fine for the moment. And then we'll clean this up, fortify everything. We'll probably have to wait out these strikes for sure before we do too much else. Okay. So that looks good. I want to grab these guys, and I want to adjust their front line again to be only over here. Those are the only places. So please stop attacking here. You don't need to do that. Okay. So we're just waiting on 1 unit moving in right here. That's all we need to do up here now. So Army 3 is out over this direction, and we eventually want Army 3 to move over to this side. I want to move Army 10 first. So Army 10 is mostly out over here, and we've got Army 12 is here, right? I guess let's move Army 10 completely out over here. So Army 3 should be in position over here or very close to it. Yeah. So Army 10, we're going to move completely to this side. There we go. And that seems fine for now. And where was this invasion at? Down here? Yeah, this doesn't look very threatening, to be honest. I mean, they've got a pretty large force here, but it's not going to go well for them. So this one up over here, this is the same invasion. Okay, sure.
Hey, come on.
So we've got another modern tank brigade here ready to move in there. That looks good. And we can see that we're still working on recruiting. And that's where a lot of this manpower is going. This offensive is basically over at this time. You're supposed to be moving in here. Get in there. I guess we can take this position. That's fine. There's not that much else out here, to be honest. But this is going to be... If we start pushing this way, this is going to be a really wide front. And I don't want to do that right now. I want to take narrower fronts where possible, which is why we want to go to the east. Okay, so this is in position here. At this point, I want to take the tank army out of here. And I want to frontline them over here. One of these has no divisions assigned to it. I'm going to delete that. Okay, so this only has one army out over here, and that's understood. I do want to get another army up to help defend this eventually, but for now, that will have to do. Please stop attacking. This is kind of irrelevant. Make your way over to your proper line. Okay, so that looks fine for now, and I'm going to queue these up at the top of the queue. Like that. And we can think about supplies in this area as well. So let's look at the supply hubs out here. Okay. I definitely want to have a supply hub about here. I'm also thinking a supply hub about here. So that would mean rail lines. I would want to have a rail line that came out like this, a rail line that comes up like that, a rail line that comes down like this, and then this rail line here should connect up kind of like that for now. So it would be something like that, and I'd like to get the rail lines done, I think, first, but we're going to have to wait out the consumer goods factories issues. 60 days on the strike crisis, 118 on the cores. That'll be done soon enough, and we'll just do these one core at a time in the future. So that's absolutely understood. We'll get our troops shifted around. The offensive is over at this time, and I just checked the clock and realized it's well past time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to gear up for our next offensive, which is going to be pushing this way or pushing down here, and I kind of want to make a corridor from here to here. That's kind of the next plan. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.